peace. He is turning every unexpected truth into a stepping stone instead of a stumbling block. God says the widow's situation is a symbolic message too. It represents the end of an old cycle, the closing of a chapter that no longer belongs to your future. God says you may have felt heaviness recently without knowing why. You may have sensed spiritual pressure, emotional intensity, unexplained anxiety, or a strange pull on your heart. God says this message is the release. This is why the heaviness came, to prepare you for the truth. And now the truth has arrived. God is holding your heart tenderly, telling you to breathe, because your life is protected. Nothing will fall apart. Nothing will collapse. Nothing will harm you. God says the widow's story is activating something inside you: strength, wisdom, discernment, intuition, inner awakening. You are being guided into a higher spiritual awareness. Things that once confused you will now make sense. Things that once felt heavy will now feel lighter. God says your path is being straightened. Your heart is being lifted. Your mind is being cleared. He says you must trust Him because the next steps of your life require faith, not fear. God says the widow has said your name in prayer, in regret, in confusion, or in unfinished emotional energy. Her soul feels connected to something about you, something she never completed, something she never healed. But God says you will not carry her burdens. You will not inherit her sorrow. You will not be entangled in her spiritual turmoil. God says you are being protected from anything that does not belong to your journey. God says that while this woman enters a stage of rebuilding, you are entering a stage of rising. Your life is moving upward. Your destiny is unfolding. Your blessings are approaching. God says this message is not meant to burden you, it is meant to free you. It is meant to lift you. It is meant to open your eyes to the ways He keeps you safe even when you don't realize it. God says you have been chosen for divine favor. You have been chosen for protection. You have been chosen for breakthroughs that others cannot understand. This is why messages like this reach you. This is why your spirit reacts so strongly. This is why God keeps pulling you into spiritual clarity again and again. He says the world may misunderstand you, but heaven never does. Heaven sees your worth. Heaven sees your purity. Heaven sees your sacrifices. Heaven sees your heart. God says the widow's truth was hidden because you were not supposed to know it earlier. Revealing it before could have caused confusion, distraction, or emotional entanglement. But now you are strong. Now you are spiritually prepared. Now you are grounded enough to hear this without fear. God says this message is arriving at the perfect time because He needed you to be spiritually stable before revealing something connected to your destiny. God says trust Him because He is sealing your path. No harm will come. No chaos will break your peace. No unseen energy will interfere with your journey. You are covered. You are shielded. You are secure. God says the widow's life is shifting, and so is yours. Her loss is the symbolic end of something connected to your past or your energetic field. And your life is now opening into expansion, opportunity, blessings, healing, and divine guidance. God says someone is praying for you right now without you even knowing it. Someone is speaking your name with sincerity, respect, and gratitude. Someone is spiritually aligned with your destiny. And God says He will protect you from anyone who carries hidden intentions. Unspoken jealousy, or unresolved emotional energy. God says He is lifting your heart right now. He is removing fear. He is calming your spirit. He is washing away the anxiety you didn't realize you were carrying. He is filling your atmosphere with divine peace, deep, soft, warm, comforting peace. God says miracles are approaching you silently, like footsteps made of light. Doors are opening. Paths are clearing. Delays are breaking. Opportunities are aligning. Blessings are moving toward you even now, beyond what your eyes can see. God says this widow's story will not harm you, it will help you. It will guide you. It will give you clarity. And it will bring closure to something that once felt unresolved. God says your heart is too precious to be mishandled. Your destiny is too important to be delayed. Your future is too divine to be touched by anything negative. God says breathe, relax, trust. You are safe. You are protected. You are guided. Nothing will go wrong with you. Heaven is holding you. God is speaking to you in this moment with a depth that shakes the heart gently but firmly, like a whisper that becomes a pull on your soul. He says this message is reaching you at the exact second it was meant to reach you, and He wants you to understand that nothing about this moment is accidental. God says a woman just got widowed at a very young age, and shockingly, this widow is connected to your R. In a way that you never imagined, and the spiritual meaning behind this connection is arriving in your life like a curtain finally lifting after years of silence. But before you allow your heart to worry or fear anything, God wants you to breathe and rest in the truth He repeats over and over. Nothing will go wrong with you. You are safe, and His hand is on your life in ways even the angels stand in awe of. He says you must trust Him now, trust Him more deeply than before, because what you are about to step into is the beginning of a divine shift that brings clarity, healing, revelation, and protection all woven into one. God says this widow's story is not a story of tragedy that enters your life to harm you, but a sign of a spiritual turning point. He says her life changed overnight, and in the middle of her grief, confusion, and sudden emptiness, something about you, your name, your presence, your connection to R, began surfacing in her path. But God says you do not need to feel afraid of any of this, because He is making sure that everything unfolding is under His guidance and timing, not the chaos of the world. He says this situation carries a hidden message for you, a divine alert, a spiritual whisper that says, "My child, look deeper." Something important is being revealed to you through her story. God says He is not bringing this message to shake you, but to wake something within you, an awareness, an understanding, and a spiritual instinct that has been sleeping inside your heart. God says this woman is connected to your R. Not by chance, but by a thread that was never visible to you all these years. He says R has been carrying a deep emotional burden, a truth that was never spoken, a responsibility they never shared, and a fear they never expressed. This widow, affected by destiny, affected by life's mysterious path, has suddenly been placed in a position where her story intersects with yours. God says when He allowed this intersection, He knew it would open a door of clarity that you have been craving for a long time. For too long, you have sensed something but did not have the full picture. For too long, your intuition whispered to you, but the answers never came. God says this is the moment where the missing piece finally appears, but God also says He does not reveal painful things to punish you, and He does not reveal secrets to overwhelm you. Everything He reveals is always for your protection, your elevation, your healing, your preparation, and your spiritual awakening. He says the truth behind this widow and her connection to your R will not break you. Instead, it will free you from confusion, emotional heaviness, and unanswered questions that have been haunting your heart silently. God is saying that He is stepping into your story with a gentle firmness, guiding your feet away from situations that could have drained you or misled you. He says you deserve clarity, you deserve peace, and you deserve emotional stability that comes not from fear, but from truth. God says the widow's life has been shattered recently, and because of that, her heart is wide open to seeking answers. She has started noticing signs, nudges, and connections that point toward you. But God says she is not coming to bring trouble into your life. Instead, she is carrying a piece of information that will help you understand the true spiritual nature of R and everything surrounding them. God says you have been patient for too long, hoping for honesty, loyalty, transparency, and purity from certain people, and now He is making sure that everything hidden comes into the light so you can finally breathe without feeling uncertain. God says the emotional burden that R carries is linked to this widow's story, and understanding this will release you from illusions or doubts that were never yours to carry. God says He is standing with you as a shield right now. He says His protection around you is not thin or fragile but deep, strong, and divine. He says no situation, no person, no emotional disturbance can cross His protective hand over your life. He says you are covered, you are safe, and He will not allow anything harmful to reach you. He says instead of fear, let understanding enter your heart. Instead of confusion, let clarity settle into your spirit. Instead of uncertainty, let trust rise inside you. God says trust Him now. Because He is guiding every detail of this revelation, God says this widow has cried every night since her loss, but in those tears, she began to see the truth behind R and what they were hiding. She uncovered something unintentionally, something that directly connects to you, something that shows you a side of R that you never saw before. But God says, do not be shaken by this. What is meant for you will never be taken from you. What is destined for you will never be blocked. What belongs to you spiritually will always find you. God says this truth is not coming to destroy you, it is coming to strengthen you. He says you deserve to know the full story, and He is bringing it to you through a person whose life has just been shaken open. God says you carry a pure heart, and people often misunderstand or underestimate the depth of your spiritual sensitivity. You are someone who feels energies deeply, someone who senses things before they happen, someone whose intuition is not ordinary. God says He created you with that gift because you were meant to navigate life not through fear but through spiritual understanding. And because of that gift, you have felt something off around R for a long time. You sensed emotional distance, hidden truths, unspoken stories, and strange energies that didn't match their words. God says your spirit was right. You weren't imagining it. This widow's arrival into the storyline is God's way of saying, "My child, here is the piece you were missing." God says He knows how much you care, how much you feel, how much you invest emotionally, and how deeply you love. He says He has seen your patience, your gentleness, your loyalty, and your hopes. He has seen the nights you prayed quietly for guidance, the days you tried to be strong even when you felt uncertain, the moments you held yourself together when the truth felt blurry. God says you have endured enough emotional confusion, and now it is time for truth, clarity, and divine alignment. God says the reason He brings this message urgently is because your heart is entering a new chapter, and before that chapter begins, He must close the chapter of unanswered questions. He says He is closing it not with pain, but with divine purpose. He says the widow's truth will help you understand R not as a mystery, but as a human being carrying hidden emotions, hidden responsibilities, and hidden struggles. God says knowledge will free you. Truth will guide you. Understanding will heal you. God says He is with you in every breath of this message. He says His protection is over you like a warm blanket. He says nothing will go wrong with you, nothing will fall apart, nothing will collapse in your life. You are safe, deeply safe, because God Himself is guiding you through every revelation. He wants you to trust Him completely, more than ever before, because this moment is not ordinary. This is a spiritual turning point where your life moves into clarity, healing, strength, and divine timing. God says this widow does not come as a threat, she comes as a message. She comes as a symbolic reminder that life changes quickly, that secrets cannot stay hidden forever, and that your spiritual path is unfolding exactly as He planned. He says let your heart stay open but protected, let your mind stay calm but aware, let your spirit stay grounded but receptive. He says He will not let anything disturb your peace. He will not let anyone mislead you. He will not let any truth harm you. Everything is being guided with divine precision. God says your connection with R is entering a phase of truth now. It may be emotional, it may be surprising, it may even be relieving, but whatever comes, God says He is standing with you the entire way. He whispers again, trust Him, trust Him, trust Him. You are safe. You are protected. Nothing will go wrong with you. God says this is reaching you at the exact moment it was meant to, and nothing in your life happens by coincidence. The timing, the message, the sense of urgency in your heart right now, everything has been aligned for you with divine precision. God says a woman just got widowed at a young age, and the shocking part is that this widow is connected to your R in a way you never considered. God says this is not meant to scare you but to awaken you, to lift you, to show you how deeply He has been involved in the unseen parts of your life that you have not understood yet. God says you are safe, you are protected, and you will not be harmed by anything that is unfolding around you, but you need to listen with your spirit right now because something in your path is shifting in a very powerful way. God says you have been sensing for days that something is changing. Maybe you've been feeling a heaviness, maybe you've sensed a strange pull toward silence, maybe you've felt like your intuition is louder than usual. God says that was Him preparing your heart before revealing what you're reading right now. God says you have been carrying fears inside you that were never meant to stay with you. He says He has been watching you carry burdens quietly, dealing with emotions in secret, hiding your pain behind strength because you didn't want anyone to see how fragile your heart felt. God says He saw the nights when you were tired and the mornings when you kept going anyway. He says He saw the moments when you wanted answers but kept receiving silence. God says that silence was not rejection, it was protection. God says this widow, the one who lost her partner so suddenly, has a connection to your R that goes deeper than surface understanding. God says you've been wondering about certain people in your life, certain relationships, certain energetic pulls you couldn't explain. God says the truth is that your spirit already knew something before your mind could catch up. He says this widow carries a story that will eventually reveal something important for your destiny. God says you must not worry, because nothing that belongs to you will ever leave you, and nothing that is meant to bless you can ever be taken away. God says the widow's loss triggered a shift in the spiritual realm that now affects your path. God says you are not supposed to feel fear, you are supposed to feel clarity. God says He kept you away from certain things, certain people, certain circles, because He knew something was about to break open. Even if you felt delayed, abandoned, or overlooked, God says He never abandoned you. He was rearranging everything around you quietly, ensuring that the situations forming behind the scenes would support your elevation instead of destroying your peace. God says your R is going through something you haven't seen yet. He says there are emotions, responsibilities, regrets, and truths that has been holding inside. God says this widow's situation awakened something inside your a memory, a realization, a sense of purpose, or a strong emotional shift. God says you are spiritually connected in a way that cannot be broken, even if communication has been slow or confusing. He says divine timing is unfolding piece by piece, and the truth is being prepared to reach you without lies. Without fear, without hesitation, God says you will soon understand why you were kept apart from certain energies until now. He says you didn't lose anything, you were preserved. You were kept for something greater, for someone who is finally waking up, for a path that is now clearing. God says you must trust Him because your prayers are moving faster than you think. He says the angels have been assigned around you at this moment. If you believe me, type Amen. God says this very softly but firmly to your spirit right now, because the message that has reached you is not something ordinary, not something whispered in the corners of this world, but something spoken in a realm where truth is fire and destiny is written with divine ink. God says, a secret meeting has exposed your true identity. You are the true descendant of something you were never supposed to discover this early. And as these words reach you, the heavens open slightly, enough for you to feel that unmistakable pull in your chest, that sense that something bigger than you has started to unfold, something that was sealed away for years, something guarded by angels who knew this moment would come when you were spiritually ready to hear it. Accept it, and carry it. God says that when this secret meeting took place, a gathering of individuals who have watched you more closely than you realize, individuals who believed you would remain unaware of the power, grace, and heavenly favor in your bloodline, something unexpected happened. What they discussed, what they discovered, what they tried to hide, has now been placed before the throne of God, and God has chosen to reveal it to you because the time is right. Not 1 second earlier, not 1 second later. God says, you are the true descendant of a chosen lineage that carries spiritual authority, divine protection, and generational purpose. And the moment they realized it, everything around you started shifting. You may have felt it without fully understanding it, the sudden heaviness in the air, the strange turns of events, the dreams that felt too real, the moments of silence where your heart beat differently, the nights where you woke up and felt something watching over you, not in fear but in protection. These were not coincidences. God says these were signs that heaven was preparing you for this revelation, a revelation that was supposed to shake you but instead will strengthen you. God says you are safe, you are protected, and nothing will go wrong with you because heaven has already built a wall of fire around your destiny. Archangel Michael stands near you as these words pour into your spirit. He is strong, alert, protective, and the moment this revelation was sent toward your life, he drew his sword, not because you are in danger, but because he is clearing the way. God says they tried to hide this truth about your identity because they feared what you would become once you knew. They feared the light you carry. They feared the wisdom that would awaken inside you. They feared the strength that would rise the moment you recognized who you truly are. But God says no fear formed by others can override heaven's timing. No secret can remain hidden once God exposes it. No whisper spoken in darkness can overshadow the divine truth written in your soul. God says that you are the true descendant of a spiritual bloodline marked by resilience, royalty, and divine calling. Something inside you has always felt different, and now you understand why. You have never been average because the hand of God has never left you. Even in your lowest moments, even when you felt ignored, forgotten, rejected, or misunderstood, God was shaping you silently, just like He shapes those He chooses for something extraordinary. God says the meeting that exposed your identity was not meant for your ears, but heaven allowed its echo to reach your life because justice had to be served. There were people who thought you would never know your worth. They wanted to distract you, confuse you, mislead you, or keep you small. But heaven has stepped in now. God says your true identity has been unsealed. A spiritual archive has been opened. Your name has been spoken in places you never entered physically but entered spiritually by divine right. Your life is not random. Your pain was not meaningless. Your strength is not accidental. Every time you broke and rose again, every tear you cried, every moment you questioned yourself, every time you felt something inside you that others couldn't understand, it was your divine lineage speaking through you. God says the reason your heart feels deeper, your mind thinks differently, your soul feels older, is because you carry ancient divine wisdom passed down through generations.